Find out. Yay, I think we are actually live. Hello.
Awesome.
Anne, how are you?
I'm good,
Okay,
Dave.
so gang, sorry that we started a little bit late. Awesome. Sorry we started a little bit late. We had a little technical difficulty, which means my other screen is over here. So if I look like I'm looking away, it's because we're juggling technology. So welcome to JVology show number 64. And we're going to be talking about the value of retreats and what it is like to actually get out of our own individual context, our triggers, our anchors, our patterns, and create something new. And we're doing so with my dear friend and brilliant retreat leader and trainer, Anne Gordon. Thank you for being here, Anne.
Thank you for having me. It's good to be here.
It is my absolute pleasure. Now, there are some mechanical details that I need to get handled so that we are all on the same page. So first of all, those of you who are new to the JVology show, let me just tell you that it is one of the ways in which my brand, JVology, the perfect mix of people, fun, and profit, we bring some of the incredible community members, such as Anne, to the rest of our community and the world, finding out a little bit about what they do, how they serve and support their clients, and how they can benefit you. Now, JVology fundamentally does this. We support entrepreneurs to redesign their business model to get a steady stream of perfectly qualified free leads. Yes, free, I like that. And recurring passive income by actually creating joint venture partnerships with other entrepreneurs. And the whole purpose of doing that is to help solve our clients' problems more comprehensively, more completely, and to create more value in the world. Now, we do that in a bunch of different ways. We do that through our live event. We have JVology Live coming up in September. You ought to be there. We'll put a link in the little chat window. So you should absolutely attend that. We do things like done-for-you work. We do things like the JV Launchpad, which is actually build the technology to get those things up and running. We have a membership program called the Global Lounge, where you get to get, number one, tech and strategy support every month. And you also get an opportunity to make and receive JV invitations from partners and members all over the world. So we do it in a bunch of different ways. And of course, this show is one of them. And I got to remember, I have a new podcast that we do it that way too, which will also put that in the links. Okay. That, I think, is all of the mechanical details, with one exception, which is we share these shows all over Facebook. So if you want to come and say hi to Anne, ask any questions about what JVology does or what Anne does in terms of her retreats, you have to be at the broadcast page. And the best way to do that is either you click on the video or the little JFazette button just above the video. It'll take you to the broadcast page, and then say hello over in the chat. And then I think the last thing I've got to do is this. I have to play our little JVology video, simply because I like to, and it is important for the branding. And if technology will cooperate, just stick with me a little bit longer while we're doing this. We're on. He says, hopefully. Do it. Do it. Play it. Okay. We are back. Things are hanging together a little bit. And do us a favor, please tell us the 5,000-foot view of who you are, what you do, who you serve, because I'm really excited about some of the things you got coming up.
Sure. So I've been leading my own retreats, my whale and dolphin wisdom retreats, since 2007. And I started those out in Panama, where I was living at the time. And I just thought about it this morning. I don't know why I never thought this before, but my very first retreat I ever led there in 2007 was sold out. Awesome. So it's not easy to do that. And so, I mean, that's amazing that I was able to do that. And there's a little trick. And what it was is I actually contacted, and that was with zero list. And what I did was I actually contacted somebody who had a list and hosted her to bring her group to my retreat. And we shared. So a co-leader situation. So that was awesome.
That's brilliant, by the way.
Yeah. And I was like, I just kind of stumbled upon it. And one of the things about leading retreats, as I was leading my retreats, and I could have one retreat every other week for 3 months during our whale season down there. Now, when I started out, I couldn't fill my own retreats, that many retreats in one season. However, by hosting other retreat leaders, I was able to really expand my retreat reach. And the thing I realized was some retreat leaders were awesome at getting and filling the group, others not so much. So I tried to support them. And so that's when I started realizing that I needed to really coach them. And I built an entire program on how to create, fill, and lead your own dream retreats. And it has nothing to do with the dolphins and whales. That's my particular retreat flavor. But it can relate and be appropriate for any kind of retreat, whether it's yoga in Bali, whether it is couples retreat, whether it is money manifesting, whether it's a corporate retreat, team building, whatever you want.
Very cool. Okay, so just to be clear about this, not everyone, in terms of what you teach, it's not just about whale and dolphins. You actually teach the entire process of how to integrate retreats into your model, how to begin to market the model, how to actually structure and organize the entire process. So let's back up to this idea of who should be considering adding retreats to their business model.
Good question. Yes, what I teach is all about choosing the theme, the vision of your retreat, the benefits, the location, the venue, the activities, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, all the nuts and bolts. And anybody who is a coach, a healer, a transformational leader, an author, an expert, anybody like that who has a following, who wants to get and build a deep connection with your audience. Because on a retreat, it is much more than you just teaching through a program or you teaching in a Facebook Live. It is having meals with these people. It is sharing experiences with these people. And you don't even have to deliver a ton of content. I have watched amazing transformation happen just in the whole envelope of the retreat.
Well, let's talk about that for a brief moment, because there's a famous quote, which I wish it was mine. It's not. There's a famous quote of, the world is drowning in information and starving for wisdom. And I really think that that's a key part of what you deliver and what you set up for the retreats and all of those pieces. So maybe just talk a little bit, because particularly if I talk to early coaches, is they're like so attached to their content. It's like,
right.
We've got to teach them the 7 steps of how to stand on your head is going to be the most important thing in the universe. What would you say to somebody who is like, great, I want to do a retreat and we should and I have 17 days of content to cram into 2?
Yeah, no, just stop. Here's the beauty of the retreat, and I love that quote that you said, is that it is about the wisdom. When I lead my own retreats, I don't even have any content blocks. I don't even build that in. When we're on my retreats, we go out on the boat and we're hanging out with the dolphins and whales, and it comes up naturally. In a casual conversation, will I share what I have learned from the dolphins and whales and how to apply it to our lives. And in a conversation gives people time to think about it, to ask questions, to dialogue, to integrate it easier. Because when you're getting it drilled as a fire hose, download content, a lot of us tend to tune out a bit. But when you're just having conversation and you're completely relaxed and open and sharing a beautiful experience together, then that is a much more powerful way to deliver the wisdom, not so much the how to do something, but just to really get it inside.
Very cool. Very cool. Very cool. So talk to me about, just to give me an idea, talk to me about one of the favorite retreats that you have ever organized for another client or helped another client organize.
Sure. Yeah, I've had some really fun ones. We did one. She was a sound healer. And it was fun. And some of these people, it was down in Panama. Some of these people were not necessarily into the whales and dolphins, but they were her followers. And it was really, really powerful, because that was in that retreat is when I realized that just the whole format of a retreat and giving people, one, choosing all the activities and the tours to align with the message of the retreat, the vision, the goal of the retreat, then automatically the transformation happened. And what I noticed is almost every single person on the retreat had moments where their emotions and limiting beliefs and thoughts were just literally bubbling up to the surface, but in a beautiful, gentle way.
Nice.
So that they just naturally, and I acknowledged it. I said, look, if emotions are coming up, we're here for you. And if you want to be alone, that's great too. And we just really honored and held that sacred space for everybody to be where they needed to be. There was no rush. There was no pressure. And it ended up being so beautiful and powerful. And one gal in particular shared with me that in the year prior to the retreat, her adult son had passed away, and she felt horrible survivor's guilt from that and hadn't been able to let go of the sadness. And she came up to me on the end of that retreat and she told me, Anne, thank you. You have given me permission to feel happy again.
So let's talk about this for a moment or two, because I think it is something that, like, we've already alluded to it, but I want to just call it out exactly as it is, which is, oh, I gotta move my camera here. Give me a second. Come back to here. There we go. Which is, so this idea of a shift in environment that creates space for something that could not otherwise transpire to occur.
Right.
So, and so I'm just going to put a little context around this question for a moment or two. So we have done high-level masterminds that included retreats for, frankly, decades, and have done everything under the sun, from like literally everything under the sun. And we would take primarily, I would call them alpha male elite entrepreneurs out into environments that they don't control, right? Most of the time, those folks control their environments and everything around them in terms of what transpires. And it was in those moments that their sort of patterns of control, the life that they very consciously designed to be a particular way. It's when that was taken away, that was the only time there was space to actually get something new in. And we even tested it. It's like, look, someone said, like, let's not do a retreat. Let's actually just do it in Calgary, and we'll just go into a hotel and we'll stay and it'll be fine and we'll separate. But the truth of the matter is that one experience, which, by the way, everybody brought their A game, but it did not have the breakthroughs that the retreats did. So just talk to me a little bit about how a retreat does that, and why, if you have a coaching community, if you have a membership community, if you're an author, if you have a digital program, why getting people the hell out of their house, perhaps more important now than ever with COVID, as we're all hunkered down, why that's so important to create the transformation that we're really trying to create.
Yeah, it's so true that just getting away and shaking up our life in a way, in a good way. And we're also plugged into technology. And even though we're kind of in lockdown right now, we're still focused on our busy daily lives. We're not spending a lot of time just thinking, just processing, and to have free time. And the ideal retreat is where there's not even any Wi-Fi available. So you can be completely disconnected, and getting out in nature as well, because most of us are in our homes and we step outside with shoes on asphalt onto cement. How often do you actually get your feet on the grass, on the sand, on the earth? And in a retreat, you give yourself permission. So you let down. There's like it's not even unconscious. There's a conscious, okay, I'm on vacation. I'm relaxed. You literally shove away everything in your daily life. You're not answering all the emails, the work is put aside, and you have given time for yourself, which is a rare thing that people do these days. I mean, we may go to something for learning or, learning strategies, which is great, but a retreat is all about you diving deep inwards.
Love that.
And that can only happen in that retreat atmosphere. And it just naturally allows, how when you're like going for a walk and you're not thinking about anything, you don't even have your phone. And that's when all the ideas and the processing happens. Imagine spending an entire week where you're allowed to really think and allow those breakthroughs, those aha moments, those transformations that you've been looking for. Maybe you've been stuck in your life and your business. Well, a retreat naturally will allow those to come up for you.
Awesome. Now, I hope that we have inspired people to think it's like, I should be a retreat, or hell, for that matter, you should be attending a retreat.
Right.
Now, you have a 5-day challenge coming up that is going to help people to create, well, you tell me what it's going to help people do, just so we're on the same page, because I don't want to put words in the mouth and make promises that aren't correct, but I have a pretty good idea.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Yes, I have a Get Retreat Ready challenge coming up next week, and July 6th through 10th. And what that means is I talk to a lot of people who say, someday I want to lead a retreat. Well, guess what? Someday is now. Because, and the other thing they tell me is, but I'm not ready. I'm not ready. No, I'm not quite ready yet. No, my business isn't ready. Well, here's a hint. You're probably more ready than you think you are. So this challenge will help you realize what you need to get retreat ready. You'll get to rate yourself on your retreat readiness. And we're going to talk about, because a lot of people think, well, I have to have a list of at least 10,000 people to lead a retreat. Well, you know what? Not true, because a retreat, there you go, a retreat is actually, it can be full at 10, 12 people. So you don't need a huge list to lead a retreat.
So this is one of the things that I really love, because it has some relationship to masterminds, of course, which I think, you and I first crossed paths on that topic, is that that was the thing I loved the most, is that, honest goodness, you don't need Infusionsoft. You don't need a whole bunch of big high-tech stuff. What you need is the capacity to identify, invite in, and build relationships with maybe 25 or 30 people that are perfect fits, and you have a retreat like that. It's one of the most beautiful things in the universe.
Yeah, it's a really powerful activity. And honestly, when I'm leading a retreat, I don't feel like I'm working at all. I feel like I'm on a paid vacation with some of these people I may have never met in person yet, but by the end of that retreat, these are people that become my dear friends. I feel like I'm on a vacation with some of my favorite people in the world.
I got a weird noise going on here, Anne. 1 second.
Okay.
I don't know what transpired. Could you hear that noise in the background?
No, I didn't hear it.
Okay, so it might have just on my end. Okay, there we go. So I'm back. I wanted to make sure that there wasn't static over what you were talking about there, my dear. So tell me a little bit about what's going to happen in the 5 days.
So in the 5 days, we're going to talk about, first day, we're going to kind of rate yourself. How retreat ready are you? Do you think you are in this moment? And then we're going to talk about a list. How big of a list do you actually need to lead a retreat? and ways that you can start building that list, because the bigger it is, the easier it is, but it's not required. Then we're going to talk a little bit about the content you need to prepare, which is a lot less than you think it is. You don't have to have tons of content. And we'll talk about stepping into that leadership role. And if you are called to be a coach, to be an author, to do some public speaking, you are already a leader. So we're going to go into all of those things and help you understand that leading a retreat is actually super easy. And then day 5, we're going to talk about coming up with your vision, your goal. What is the theme of your retreat?
So I love all of those things. And one of the things that just struck me that I just want to frame this around, and it struck me in terms of our mastermind group, is that I believe that this is perfectly aligned for anyone who has clients that want a greater experience of intimacy with the coach, the experts, the author, the entrepreneur, all those sorts of things. And if anyone has requests for people wanting to spend more time with them, wanting to figure out how to do a VIP day, or literally, Corey and I were joking. I think you know Mustafa, yes?
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, he's a dear friend of mine from like 15 years ago. Has been doing a bunch of stuff in the JVology community, and we had this little contest for the last JVology Live, which was, depending on the number of referrals, you could come for a mastermind. And he said, "Look, I'm going to blow that out of the way. What happens if it's beyond the mastermind?" And I said, "Well, come to the house for the barbecue," because he happens to come to the house for a barbecue because he lives in Calgary. And he said, "Well, if I blow that number out of the water, I'm coming for a sleepover." So anyway, it's a silly little story, but what it signifies is this: is that if you have people wanting to get closer to you, wanting a greater experience of intimacy outside of your content, outside of the relationship, so that you can actually like hang out together and create experiences together, you have to do a retreat. Like, there's no better way to fulfill that desire and make some money and serve your tribe.
Absolutely. And the other thing about a retreat is, once they go on a retreat with you, they're your fans for life. They're going to want to go on your next retreat. They're going to want to sign up for your high-end offers, for your VIP days, to get even more of you, because now you're not just client and coach. You've got that friend relationship. You've really upped your game in their minds.
Yeah, friend to family, absolutely.
Yep.
Okay, so this, I put the link in our chat window, the Get Retreat Ready 5-Day Challenge. And here's my belief about this, is that we are sitting on the cusp of a pretty incredible opportunity. And if, for those of you who are sitting, it's like, oh, why am I going to get retreat ready when we're still in the middle of COVID and all that stuff?
Exactly.
So folks, let me say this as clear as I possibly can. Right now, there are hundreds of millions of people sitting at home wishing for an adventure, to get the hell out of Dodge with people that they care about, people that they love, people they want to do work with, people that they believe are going to make an impact on the trajectory of their life and their business. And there is latent demand. And the truth of the matter is this: the people that are going to actually leverage and take advantage of that latent demand are the people that are making the plans now. Not 2 months after the borders open, not 2 months after you can get on a plane. There is one time for this, and if you're really going to do something freaking cool with your tribe and with your community, you have to do Anne's 5-Day Challenge, and then decide how that's going to look. Get all of your ducks in order, and when things open up again, you're going to pull the trigger and you are going to put on a retreat, and it is going to change your life and business and theirs. But you have to do it now. Okay, I'll get off my soapbox. I was just like,
no, I could not. Thank you. I could not agree more, because here's the thing: you don't want to announce your retreat and 2 months later lead it. You need time, because people need time to schedule their vacations, their work, their family, their commitments in life. And travel's a big deal. So you want to be able to give people literally like 9 to 12 months to be able to plan for your retreat. And so the ideal is now you get retreat ready. Now you plan it. Now you line up your venue, your location, you book the hotel. And here's the trick. If you do it now before the borders open and before everybody's traveling, you're likely to get much better deals, because all of the flights, the hotels, the retreat centers, they're dying for business. So now's the time to book them, so that the second everybody's ready to travel, you're going to announce your retreat and they're like, I'm in. It's a no-brainer. I'm ready.
Just on that note, by the way, if anybody's like, well, I don't want to book a hotel because what if the thing doesn't open when I want it to open and all the rest of it? So, literally we're just in the process of negotiating our what we call the JVology Summit. So it's our high-end invitation based process. And we've got a date set in September that we're not 100% certain everything's going to be okay for yet.
Right.
But the hotels are very, very cooperative in terms of, look, this is the date. We're going to hold it. We're happy to put a small deposit that if we can't run it, that will then be moved to a time where we can run it. And and they're very flexible. They are hungry. So don't worry about getting yourself sort of hung out to dry. Just let people know. And this is that same thing about planning ahead. Let the organization know this is where we're headed, this is what we're doing, this is how this is going to go, and these are the dates. Here's a tentative hold. Here's a little bit of money as long as it's transferable, and you're ready to pull the trigger when the opportunity presents itself.
Exactly. And airlines are super flexible now too, as well. Normally you can't change your date. Yeah. Normally you can't change your dates. There's, no refunds, no nothing. Now it's piece of cake. Everything's flexible. Everything's changed the dates. It's super easy. If you plan 9 months out in advance, and for, God forbid, we can't travel yet, everything is flexible.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So on that note, gang, here's the thing. I'm a raving fan of retreats. We have built a significant portion of our mastermind business around and utilizing retreats. Anne is the go-to expert that has put the pieces together for anyone who wants to entertain this process. And frankly, you should be. So her 5-day challenge starts July 6th to 10th. So what you should do is get registered. The link is over in the chat window. You can dive on over, get registered, get yourself moving and shaking. And here's the thing. Even in my humble opinion, even if it's like, I'm not sure yet, you still do this, because if nothing else, this will answer the question of, hell yes, I'm doing it, or no, I'm not there yet. It's going to help you get the answer to should you or shouldn't you. And let's be clear about this. If your retreat could be filled with 8 to 12 people and it lays a foundation for greater intimacy, the answer to the question is you should. Like, truly, absolutely. You genuinely should. And a little sidebar. Okay, I'm going to go on another rant just because I'm a fan of you and your work. But one last rant, which is this: I actually think that a ton of people do not leverage the tax implications and the lifestyle implications of being a coach, author, entrepreneur, and all those pieces. A retreat where you are working as ways in the universe to leverage paying for travel with pre-tax dollars and being able to include a whole variety of things, from your families, your team, to all those pieces. Sometimes you're going to travel there ahead of time to actually check the location out. Like there's a whole bunch of pieces that purchase lifestyle and use your income in a powerful, meaningful way. So that's just one of the other perks that if you're an entrepreneur going, it's like, ooh, sort of, putting my holidays aside, then do this and get your holidays at the forefront of your business model.
Absolutely. One of the key things, say you want to lead a retreat in Costa Rica, but you've never been there, or you found a retreat center that looks really juicy online, but you want to make sure you check it out first. So go there. Go there, and it's tax deductible. It's part of your business. And take your spouse, take your kids, go have a little mini vacation. Check out the retreat center. They'll be thrilled to have you. And then you'll be able to know and speak to it firsthand, show pictures of yourself there. And that's perfect. And so it's, absolutely, it is. And something I do on all of my retreats is after my retreat is over, I stay. sometimes up to a week later. And I'm single, but if I had, when I was married, I'd bring my husband, or, you can bring your family, have them come in later. And that is your celebration for having led this great retreat, is staying in this amazing location and just enjoying it all to yourself.
Love, love, love that. Okay. So here's the deal. Last word about the challenge, and then we are out. To you, my dear.
All right. So if you have any inkling at all of leading a retreat, come join me on the Get Retreat Ready Challenge. We're going to have a lot of fun. I'm all about the fun and the dolphins and play, so it'll be as playful as possible. And it's going to help you realize that you are a lot closer to being retreat ready than you ever thought.
I love that. All right, gang. The link is in the chat. I just put it in again, so it's handy in the conversation. And I'll just give you a couple of other little hints. Is when you do the challenge with Anne, you've got to also ask her about some of her other interesting activities in her life, which I will not say a word about, other than Anne is a woman you need to get to know and you need to spend a little time with and be epically entertained by her stories of adventures. Because honest to goodness, every time we hang out, my face hurts from laughing. So anyway, go work with Anne. You will love her. She's an amazing woman. And Anne, thank you. I appreciate you being here, and good luck on the challenge. I will keep an eye on it myself.
Thank you so much, Jay. And I knew you couldn't get away without mentioning the stories.
I didn't say which story. I just said
I
stories.
know. Very good.
All right. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. Okay. Now, let's see if technology will cooperate to actually be able to end this thing, because I'm having some troubles getting it to respond. There we go. Come on, camera. There we go.